What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. My name is Meg, and today I'm going to show you how to get this bronzy, easy, everyday makeup. This is perfect makeup for every day. It's kind of what has been my go-to makeup throughout summer, whether it's for like an everyday kind of look or a special event kind of look. And I think it's also a good look for those of us that are wanting to cling on to summer. And I also think that this would look really pretty in the fall, winter, any time of the year. It's your basic go-to bronzy smoky eye. So I really hope that you guys find this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe before we get started, and let's jump into the tutorial. To get this look started off, I'm doing my eyes first, which is so weird for me because I've never been somebody that does eyes first and then full face. Like, that was so backwards to me, but this summer I really got accustomed to doing it, and it's just because I really want to have my eye shape perfected. So I just have some tape laid down. As you can see, I don't have the tape lined up exactly under my lash line. That's because I like to smoke out my lower lash line, and I like to blend it up to my crease. So I place the tape just a little bit lower than where most people do, so I can get that flawless connection. And then for my base, I just use my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and I set it with the powder, and now we're ready to jump into the eye look. So I'm going to be using the KKW Beauty X Mario palette. I feel like there's so much hype around this palette, and then I haven't really seen any tutorials actually using it. So hopefully if you bought this, this is helpful to you, but this has been like my everyday look. So I'm going to start off with this camel color right here. It's like a nice matte color. And then I'm going to be using a Real Techniques 203 brush. I know this looks dirty, but it really isn't. I've been using this to clean in between uses, but I definitely need to do a good deep clean. But anyways, this is a dry brush cleaner. I will have a review up, and if it's not up, it will be up soon, using this in between different shadows. So the brush looks dirty, but there's nothing coming off on it. So I'm just going to take this and apply it liberally to my crease area. And another reason why I love using this tape method is because you can just be really haphazard with applying the shadow. So I'm going to blend this pretty high up. I would say right about to here is as high as I'm going to blend it. So this is right where my socket ends. When you're blending like your transition shadow out, you want to blend it up and out. So I'm holding my brush at this upward angle, and then it will just help you blend faster and easier. And I'm also taking this from outer corner to inner corner, because this is going to be a cut crease, and I know a lot of people are like tired of seeing cut creases because a lot of people don't think that it's something that they can achieve or that they can wear in their everyday life, but this is so easy. I'm going to try my best to make this as easy as I can to show you that it's not as complicated as you may think it is. So I'm also bringing this into the outer corner of my lid. In between each step, I'm just going to be taking this really big fluffy brush just to blend out any edges. And this is just going to help keep that flawless gradient look to the eyes. People obviously have their own opinion on Kim and her whole family, but for me, I really enjoyed this palette. If it's something that I don't even know if it's available anymore, but if it is and you're thinking about getting it, I would highly recommend it because these shadows are really easy to work with. They're really blendable. You're not going to be sitting here spending a lot of time blending your shadow. They just kind of blend effortlessly. So using the same brush, I'm now going to move into this darker taupey shade right here. And this is going to be a similar process, only I'm going to keep it closer to my actual crease. So instead of having my brush upwards, I'm going to keep it pretty parallel to the ground. And I'm just going to make my way from outer corner to inner corner again with blending it. So it's been a hot topic in the beauty community. Maybe, hopefully it's died down by the time this video goes up. But with all the drama going on, I feel like the beauty community has just completely imploded. So I'm curious what your thoughts on everything are. Like, what is something that you would like to see coming out of the beauty community? I feel like everything is being burnt down right now. We're gonna have to start from scratch. So what kind of videos are you interested in watching? what are your favorite things that you like to see from your beauty gurus or your influencers. I'm really curious to know what kind of content you guys are into. And I'm also putting this, again, I'm gonna bring this about halfway onto my lid, because cutting the crease, I'd rather go in too far than not enough, because the concealer is just going to cover it up. In other news, I feel like Netflix has been coming out with hit after hit. So Orange is the New Black, that's like what started off the summer season. Have you guys caught up yet? Where do you think the show is going to go with how it ended? What do you think is going to happen with the main characters? I'm excited to see where the show goes. I just think it keeps getting better and better. I really like the plot line this season, and I like how they kept getting little teasers of everything that happened. So I'd love to know your thoughts on where you think things are headed. And then also, if you guys are into like murder mysteries or anything like that, I've been reading a lot of books this summer. So this summer I've been on a Julian Flynn kick. So I read Gone Girl and then I watched the movie. The book is like 100 times better than the movie. There's so much more detail that you get in the movie, or in the book, that they left out of the movie, of course, because you can only fit so much into a movie. And I'm gonna keep talking to you while I cut my crease. So I just go back in with my Tarte concealer. I like this because it's really opaque, so it's gonna get rid of any shadow that's on my lid. It's not gonna like bleed through or anything. And it's also a really nice tacky base for whatever you wanna lay on top of it. So to cut my crease, I'm just taking a concealer brush and I'm literally going to use the outline of my eyeball to cut my crease. This is like the easiest way I found to do it and to get it the most even and cohesive, because that's the tricky part with it. So I'm just gonna lay this down right here and just follow the shape of my eye. You also want to make sure that you're not picking up too much concealer when you're laying down for the outline. If you ever feel that you accidentally picked up too much, just concentrate it down here and then take whatever is left over. So I'm going to cut this about that far, and then now I'm just going to fill it in. So I really like Gone Girl, and then I read Sharp Objects, and that book was really good. I liked it more than Gone Girl. However, I felt the beginning of it was rather slow, and I felt the ending was rather rushed. But HBO, if you read the book and you liked the book and you weren't aware, HBO has a series of the book on their app, and I finally watched it and I was so happy with it because I felt like HBO stuck really true to the book, and Julian Flynn was like an executive producer for the show. So I was really pleased with the adaptation of that. I just feel like if you watch the show and you didn't read the book, the ending may confuse you a little bit. You may be a little bit like, what? You may be a little bit lost. So I feel like it could have been explained a little bit more or gone into like a little bit more depth that the book did go into, but at the end I saw that the producer just wanted that shock value there at the end. But I feel like some people may not follow or understand the motive if they didn't read the book. So what books have you been liking? Because I'm in the middle of reading Dark Places now, which is the third book by her. I'm about halfway done, and this one's really interesting. I think it would be like really interesting to also make like maybe a TV adaptation of this one. Although I feel like it's a little bit more gruesome. Although what happens in Sharp Objects is also pretty violent. Obviously this is a little bit much maybe for the typical person's everyday makeup, but this is kind of what I go to if I'm going out summer special or going out to a party or something. You could totally skip the cut crease and apply the shimmers as is and it'll look fine. It just won't be like as popping out as it would be if you did do the cut crease. So what I'm going to do is go in with this second gold color right here. And I think that these apply best with your finger. I think with any brand, shimmery shadows apply best with your finger. And I am just going to start tapping this right on top of the concealer and kind of going over where I last laid that taupey shade to blend it into it. And then I'm just going to lightly fade this to the inner corner. then now for the wow factor, I'm gonna go in with this first shimmer color. It is so beautiful. And I'm just gonna pack that in on the inner third. And then if you're somebody that has like longer nails and you have a hard time like patting shadows on with your finger, a tip that I recently heard, I haven't tried it yet, but the makeup sponges that you get in those little, like in the drugstore kits, apparently those pack on shadow really great for shimmers. I've heard a lot of people say that that's been really helpful for them. So now that I have that laid down, to get any sort of shimmer that's accidentally in your crease, you can just go over with a blending brush. And then I'm just lightly tapping over the shimmer to blend that out. And then you can always go back and forth. And then the last step for me is going to be doing a shadow liner. I'm just taking an e.l.f. angled brush. I like that it is thicker, so it's gonna apply a thicker line. And I'm gonna take this purple shimmery shadow right here, and I'm just gonna apply that as eyeliner. I'm just angling the shadow out a little bit to blend it up into the crease. And then now the magic of removing the tape and just having those really nice crisp lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of my base on and then be back to finish this up. Moving on to the lower lash line, I'm gonna go back in with this darkest taupey color, and I'm picking that up on a Morphe M432. It's just a really nice flat brush, and I'm just going to stamp and wiggle it along my lash line. And then now, taking an E36, I'm gonna go back into like that camel brown, and I'm gonna smoke this out. And this is exactly why I like having that tape down a little bit lower, because it just connects right into the crease. For something a little bit different, I am going to mix some shimmers on my lower lash line. So I'm taking this color first, and then I'll be going back into this for the very inner corner. But I'm just gonna take that same brush, swirl it around, and this is just gonna add a different dimension to the lower lash line. It's gonna add some sheen to it, and I just think it looks really pretty. I'm just concentrating that silver color right in the very inner corner. That is going to be it for the eyes. I'm gonna add mascara and then be back to do the rest of my face. Time to wrap this up, and I am starting off the rest of my face with the Tarte Pro Glow, and I'm gonna take this Sculpt shade and contour. If you're curious, the foundation I'm wearing is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. I will have my first impression review linked right up there for y'all. Mini review, in short, if you have dry skin, it's probably not gonna work the best for you. My skin's a little bit dried out because I've been wearing makeup like constantly for the past week. So my skin's a little parched. And it's not looking the best on my forehead today, but that's all right. Because unless you're like this close, you can't really tell. So I try to not go too ham with this. I do tend to go a little heavy-handed with my contour, but alright, I'm gonna leave the forehead for bronzer. And speaking of bronzer, oh, by the way, I keep forgetting to say the brushes. This is an e.l.f. Flawless Face Brush. I like it because it's tapered, so it gets most of the product where you want it, and then you can use the rest of the blush to fluff it out. And then I'm using my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and this is just a powder brush. I like applying my bronzer with this because it's not gonna, you know, get too much on. It's gonna fluff it onto your face. And I place my bronzer a little bit higher than I do the contour. And then to chisel that out, I'm going to take my Maybelline Fit Me powder, and I'm just gonna use the flat side of my sponge. So this is my Eco Tools sponge. I love this, it's $5. Works pretty great. And then I'm just gonna cut that out. This is just gonna sit on there until I'm done doing the rest of my face. Just gonna let it bake for a little, if you will. And then if I really wanted to pack it on, so if I was wearing sunglasses or something, I would really pack the powder on to try to prevent those smudgy sunglass markings. Now I'm gonna apply this on my forehead. I like to, you know, focus most of this onto the temple area. And then I will take a very little across the middle of my forehead. And then I also try to move all my baby hairs back to really get right up into my hairline. And then I just like to hit the bottom of my nose. Especially with a lot of foundations, I have issues with it sticking to my nose, you know, like breaking up the foundation if I put powder on top, so I don't really contour my nose. For blush, I love muted blushes in case you're new. So this is like a muted rose blush from Tarte. It's called Exposed, and I love it. It just adds a subtle pink hint to my cheeks. And I am someone that likes to take my blush all the way back. I'm not a major blush person. I'm more of a highlighter person, which we're jumping into right now. So the first highlighter I start off with is Moonstone by Becca. This is so beautiful. I apply this with the Morphe M510 brush, and I just fluff it onto my cheekbone area and I bring it up here. I like this highlighter because it's very subtle. For me anyways, this is a subtle highlighter. I think it just gives you like that nice sheen, natural glow. It doesn't look like you have like an obvious, you know, sparkly highlight on. And then because I'm wearing a matte foundation, I'm gonna tap a little bit right above my brow just to add some shimmer into there and on my chin. If I'm wearing a dewy foundation, I typically don't do that. And then now to add a little bit more highlighter. It's gonna look crazy. It's gonna look really poppin' with the lights, but it's not as intense in person. So don't be afraid, but this is Glazed Donut by Ofra. You literally just need the littlest amount. And I'm now using a Morphe R36. I like this one because it's a little bit more condensed. And I can really pack the highlight on with this. If I wanted it to be a little bit more natural, I just would keep using the other brush. And I just apply this to the very tips of my cheekbone. I'm not gonna, you know, fluff this one around as much. And I also like to heavily highlight my nose. And my Cupid's bow. Now, if you thought we were done, you're wrong. Lastly, I like to use a blush topper. This is extra, but it's mostly because I have this highlighter and it's, you know, I want to have purpose for it. So this is from Dose of Colors. This is a Mirame highlighter from the Katie and Desi collection, and I'm just applying this with a Luxie 522 tapered highlighter brush. And a little bit of this goes a long way, and it just adds the prettiest shimmer to your cheeks. And because I'm not much of a blush person, I like that it's like a nice gold sheen on the actual apple of my cheeks, because as you can see, this is a pretty white highlighter, so I think it's nice to have a little bit of gold and warmth here on the cheekbone instead of it being more of a stark white, if that makes sense. So now I am just going to take a dual fiber brush. This one's from e.l.f. and I'm just gonna wipe this away. For lips, I have to go with my classic nude lip. I use two different lip liners. I'll show you the difference here. It's very slight, but you can see this top one is a little bit darker. This is just a Monaco pencil, and then the one on bottom is the NYX Nude Suede Shoes. So I will just outline my lips with the Monaco one, which is darker, and fill in with NYX. And to top it, I'm just taking my KK Beauty lip gloss in Super Nude. I love this. It is not super sticky, and it just adds a really nice sheen to what you already have on. Okay, last step of all is to set. So I'm just gonna use this Morphe spray. And you can fan it dry. Help it dry faster. And and here she be. So this is going to finish it up for the look. This would look really great with falsies, but I'm not somebody that wears that on an everyday basis or even rarely for special occasions, so it will add that nice pop. But I think that this look looks just as great without them, so don't feel the pressure that you need to wear false lashes with every single eye look that you do. You don't need to. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite makeup product right now? Like, what are you loving? I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future content. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Anybody else just patiently waiting for Game of Thrones to come back, because I'm just like... Anyways, thank you so much for being here, for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone.